my co-host, John Tell, this morning. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, love. Good morning, Grand Rising, everyone. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are.
And thank you so much for joining me this morning here in Pennsylvania. We are back with another episode, bringing you all the deets on individuals that are fighting for freedom around the globe. Know that at the Leon Block, that it is one of our sole purposes to shed light into a dark world that others feel too uncomfortable to talk about. We are here to get uncomfortable, to elevate to our larger realm of consciousness, to arm ourselves with knowledge, because if we don't know better, we can't do better. If we aren't in the know, we also then can't demand change appropriately. We must be clear and understand what the fundamental problem is, and understand that the root of the problem is the system. The only way we will have change and reform of these systemic disparities is if we bring in clear, competent leaders and commit to the long haul. This is a marathon, not a sprint. We must connect through community. Our communities are hurting. We need compassion, layers of support, and to show more grace and humanity.
That's right. We got a lot of stories for y'all this morning. So definitely stay tuned. Keep it locked. We are going to be getting into a lot of stuff, everyone. I am excited for today. Jazz,
Yes.
Thank you for joining us. Yes, pinkies up, pinkies up.
Always. You already know.
You already know. Let's go ahead and get into it, y'all. It's freedom for all.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to Freedom for All. I'm Meg, and thanks for joining John Tell. I appreciate you once again. Welcome. So here at the Leon Block, we're on a mission to bridge the gap between our community resources available and to our community members that need those resources the most. Now, whether that be in our backyard or yours, that is our purpose, to be the bridge. We could not do what we do without your donations and support. Our payment options are scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Also, don't forget to set your notifications to know when we're live. And don't forget to like and subscribe to view more of your favorite social injustice freedom fighter.
Yo, Meg, what's the first story you got going on today?
So
Looking to advertise your business to a diverse and
this webisode. Yep, no problem.
Sorry about that. There was like a little technical difficulty there.
Yeah.
Yo, I don't know what's going on today. It's like there's a poltergeist in the studio. So apologize.
No problem.
I think that was my bad. Maybe the laptop.
Yeah, we're
So
still, technology is never easy.
right,
So,
right.
this webisode, we're going to be digging in and discussing police misconduct and payouts of civil lawsuits around the U.S. from 2010 to 2020, thanks to an amazing article posted by the Washington Post. Now, police officers' sworn duty is to serve and protect their communities at large. Unfortunately, departments and officers nationwide have failed at this task exponentially. Police officers are a warranted law employee of a police force. Police officers' responsibilities include to protect life and property through the enforcement of laws and regulations, to proactively patrol assigned areas, to respond to calls for public service. So basically, in a nutshell, they're tasked to maintain order and keep their community safe. But unfortunately, there is a hidden billion-dollar cost of repeated police misconduct. More than $1.5 billion have been spent to pay out claims of alleged police misconduct throughout the United States.
That's crazy.
Now, this is involving thousands of officers repeatedly accused of wrongdoing. Taxpayers, us, and every other community member who pays taxes are often left in the dark regarding these crucial situations, which leave us super vulnerable. Now, 76,000 officers from Portland to Milwaukee to Baltimore, whose alleged misconduct has been more than once led to payouts to resolve lawsuits and claims of wrongdoing, according to Washington Post investigation. The data that they collected is from the top 25 police departments in the United States, and nearly 40,000 civil lawsuits have been filed against those departments within the past decade, documenting more than $3.2 billion spent to settle claims against them. So the Washington Post also found that more than 1,200 officers in these departments that were surveyed have been the subject of at least 5 settlement civil lawsuits. More than 200 officers were listed in 10 or more of those settlement lawsuits. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. Let that sink in for a second.
It's just crazy to me, y'all. Welcome back to Freedom for All with host Meg Keller. I'm your guy, co-host John Tolan. Now, we've been sharing information via one of our other co-hosts, Chaz Neal, about different information of settlements and numbers going around the country. So Minneapolis to pay police shooting victim families $20 million for Justine Ruskovic Damond, and then also $3.2 million settlement and police killing of Dante Wright. Philando
Wow.
Castillo's girlfriend to receive $800,000 settlement for emotional distress and
As
false
she should. As she should.
As she, yes,
100%.
this is crazy though.
Wow. Well, if you want to go ahead and play the clip from the Washington Post, it gives us a little bit more information.
We've heard about the multi-million-dollar suits involving Floyd and Breonna Taylor, but we don't often hear about the numerous lawsuits involving an officer while he or she is still on the force. Those are the cases that don't make the headlines.
$3 billion.
We really wanted to know, are any of the officers who are involved in these settlements involved in multiple of these settlements?
We have police officers who are allegedly, during a 10-year period, have been sued for excessive force, for wrongful arrest, for illegal search and seizure over and over again.
So we looked at approximately 40,000 settlements across 25 departments.
Real quick, you saw how many times Philly was on there, right? In Seattle.
Yes, I have all of Philadelphia's numbers. We're going to be talking about that next.
Oh, shit.
In order to report this story, we had to send open records requests to many large police departments across the country. And from there, what we did was we tried to get names of officers. Here is 605 pages of a printed out database that we got sent as part of this project. In a few of the cities, they sent us names. Most of these places did not. And so what I did was I went in case by case using either the name of the claimant or the case number if they had it, and searched in federal courts, in local courts to find those cases. And when I found them, I pulled all of the police officers from those cases and added them to the database. All in all, I did that more than 20,000 times.
Wow.
The majority of these lawsuits are just allegations. They did not go to trial. The city decided it would be easier and cost effective to just settle, which is part of the reason why police departments and police officers are saying there's no reason to keep track of this information. You know, there's been investigation stories at various publications where they look at the overall number, but nowhere and no other institution did a story that actually drilled down into the court records and found the names of the officers. You know, we put together an incredible database with names of these officers, how many times they've been sued, the total amount of settlements. Residents in various cities around the country can look and say, oh, well, I live in Detroit and I didn't know this officer has been sued this many times.
That's crazy.
The police departments paid out over $3.2 billion in civil settlements for police misconduct. And this is just 25 of the largest departments. In this country, there are 18,000 plus police departments. I would say the biggest finding that we have is across 25 cities, we found over
My goodness.
7,500 officers who had been involved in multiple settlements from 2010 to 2020.
Wow.
And those settlements accounted for 49% of total payouts in those cities.
That's just 10 years.
Right.
Over that. Generally speaking, police departments themselves are very, very hidden, in large part because there are so many police departments and the federal government has almost no oversight. I think that any time that a municipality spends money, the citizens have the right to know, whether it's part of a budget or it's part of a settlement.
Wow. So can you replay that comment? Governor Greg Abbott.
Yeah.
Appoints officer indicted for misconduct during George Floyd protest to police regulatory agency. Justin Berry was among 19 Austin police officers indicted earlier this year, accused of using excessive force against people protesting. Yes, Chaz. Okay, so later on. Oh, I'm so sorry. How much of that did you hear? Because I had you on mute.
You said later on, and then it went out after you said later on.
So later on, we're going to be talking about a local police officer who's had the same situation and claims made against him in excess over $100,000 that is now been transferred about 30 miles away to not even transferred. He had resigned from one jurisdiction and then was rehired to another jurisdiction. So that will be later after in this webisode that we'll be talking about that as well. So let's get to Philly's numbers, shall we?
Yes.
I feel like we need tea.
Yeah. By the way, we're talking about Philly's numbers because Meg and I live close to the Philly area. We are in Lancaster, PA, which is, depending on how you drive or what transportation you take, about 1 to 2 hours west of Philly. So Philly is the biggest city closest to us for us to get these numbers from. Go ahead, Meg.
Yes. And so here in the state of Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, which is one of the largest departments in the state, of course, they have paid out $136 million out in civil lawsuit settlements from 2010 to 2020.
And that's
now,
10 years alone.
For 10 years, $136 million. And that is 59% of their officers are named in multiple lawsuits.
Wow.
Get the tea. So the excessive force alone is $71,962,471. The false arrest is $51,102. The other civil rights claims are $7.3 million. Other alleged misconduct is $3.6 million. And illegal search and seizure was $1.7 million. And that resource was thanks to the Washington Post article.
Frank Rizzo would be proud.
Yes, 100%. And I could not imagine to see numbers like Akron, Ohio. And, because they only did 25 of, the largest agencies. I would love to see some of these small Lima, I would love to see what their numbers were.
Yeah, because Lima is one of those cities that's out of hand.
Right. 100%. And it's one of those that are overlooked because it is so small.
Right. It's only a population of 75,000 and it's in northwestern Ohio. So it's not anywhere near, the big metro cities of Cleveland, Columbus, Cincinnati. It is, on the western edge, and people kind of forget about it.
Yep, exactly. And so that leads us into our next conversation piece. Chaz, thank you so much for your comment. Joe Lombardo's first 5 years as Clark County Sheriff, Las Vegas Metro Fiscal Affairs Committee, or the sheriff, approved an average of $1.1 million in settlements to people alleging wrongdoing by the police and from those involved in auto accidents with Metro. But in the last 2 years, settlements shot up to just under $6.5 million last year and almost $5.9 million for the fiscal year ending in July. Holy crap. That is insane. We have to arm ourselves with knowledge so not only we know better, but we do better. Even if it's not in our realm, we have the ways of finding out our information quick within an hour. You got to keep us tuned in. Also, check out Chaz Neal on The Urban Conservative every day. And he also added that in December 2021, the Chicago City Council.
I wouldn't even go. Just go ahead into the next story. Chaz, keep posting these facts. Because there's more. There's a lot more. So people just at the time, just read these facts or go back to the episode later on and rewind, because this is stuff that you need to know. This is in your country and in your jurisdiction. There is a 99% guarantee that your tax-paying dollars are going towards paying for this kind of thing. I
100%.
guarantee.
Yep, I agree. So we are going to take a quick break and we'll come back with more news and information for you.
Looking to advertise your business to a diverse and conscious audience? Are you looking to give back to your community or have your voice heard? The Leon Block is looking for you. We want to provide people and small businesses with more traffic while connecting more people from all backgrounds, as well as integrating viewers more into what we do. Community is everything. Will you join us in helping build a better community? The Leon Block Independent Media Group is a grassroots independent media platform by the people seeking to fill the gaps news deserts have created. Left and socialist leaning, we are pro-black, and we cover stories of police brutality, human rights, environmental issues, racism, and more in a more in-depth way that the mainstream can't, won't, and doesn't provide. Our mission is to change the way citizens look at media, to embolden everyone to take part in politics and become an integral and active part of their community, to enrich all of our lives, and to combat racism. We focus on police-involved cases and incidents of racism, spirituality, world issues and news, history, music and art, environment, and many more. The Leon Block Independent Media is a network providing press, arts, and other media and resources aimed to better reconnect the most oppressed. We run daily web shows through social media, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and post information about current events or simple memes to make you think. We try to target different audiences, and we do not censor anyone as we seek to provide truth that mainstream media does not. Check out our websites. You can also reach out to us via email or text. And if you'd like to reach out for more information or more information on our sponsorship opportunities as well, please hit us up through text at 484-909-0873. Hope to hear from you.
Yo, welcome back to Freedom for All. How's everyone doing?
Grand Rising, everybody. Let's keep it moving here this morning. I thank you, Jontel, and those commercials are amazing.
Oh,
If I can say so myself, you did so good. I'm so proud of you as always. Also, I posted in the chat a Settled in Silence investigates how smaller cities, towns quietly pay for claims of excessive force without anybody knowing about it. They kind of slide it underneath the rug and they keep it moving. But that leads us into our next story. Earlier in the week, we were approached by a community member, and they requested that we look into an officer employed within their local police department who has several claims of civil rights violations and who has stated claims for misconduct to brutality to excessive force. This officer had recently had to resign from a position as a police officer in Strasburg, Pennsylvania, which is approximately 30 minutes away from his new hired police department of Corryville, Pennsylvania. Now, he was forced to resign whenever Strasburg City Council held an emergency meeting, and that's whenever Officer Robert Burns was forced to resign. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how officers and police departments cover up misconduct and wrongdoings. There is a petition. We will put that in the comments if everybody would like to go and sign this for us so we can get him out of office. This, is horrible. And this is where our taxpaying dollars are going, is to situations like this. Good morning. Now, and the secret is they allow them to resign so it doesn't show up on their records. And that, in my opinion, sounds like strategic propaganda.
Yep.
So, and then we have also articles that we had just found, whenever we were doing our own investigations, of a gentleman that lost his life at the hands of Officer Burns in the Poconos, or now this is the Quarryville Borough Police Department, where it shows the chief's email address. So if you've had any problems with this officer, feel more than welcome to go ahead and let the chief know, who he hired, as we demand due diligence within our police departments as well.
Yeah,
So
I just threw that link in the comments so that people could check that out and get the information. Yo, good morning, grand rising to you, Frank. All power to the people. Thank you for joining us this morning.
yes, good morning, and thank you for posting that. And it's weird to me to add to this whole conversation is not only are there claims of he killed somebody that had a heart condition by excessive force, and all of these things, but to mention he's in Quarryville, which whenever if anybody kept and watched or read LNP like February, March, you would have seen the bail fund get crucified by the Lancaster County commissioners due to the fact of my partner standing up whenever one of our baileys had passed away 5 days after being incarcerated. His name was John Coma. He was a veteran that served our country, and he went into jail for 5 days. He went in front of Clark Behringer, which, surprise, surprise, that's the Quarryville judge that this guy is. Yeah, it's a small world. Now, to add Paul Reardon that passed away in jail, his bail was $250 or $250,000, and his merchandise that he sold was like approximately $200. John Coma, he set his bail at $5,000 whenever he stole $28 worth of items from the local convenience store. They did not believe his medical conditions. Like, the judge there is a joke. So we are demanding, as the Leon Block, I wrote a letter to the chief. We're demanding due diligence and hiring of these officers, asking them what their procedures and protocols are whenever they go to hire an officer. And so we'll just wait patiently and see what they have to say. I also included about 7 links in there just to kind of inform the chief what he's, now up against by the hiring and of this officer and the liability of the police department there in court.
Meg, where can people get, a copy of this form so that they can copy and paste and send the same thing to these officials as well?
I will post mine in the comments, and then anybody that wants to use that, just change the name and then send it to the email address that we'll also list in the comments.
Awesome.
So what's your thoughts on this, John Tell? That was a lot of information in a little bit of time.
Man, just a bunch of bull. Like, this is what we are dealing with. And everyone remember, just like Chaz had said, this is all of our tax-paying dollars. This is where our money is going to. This is not okay, y'all. Y'all got to wake up and realize, oh, yeah, speaking of, they just let the 8 officers back to work in Akron, Ohio. Let's keep that where our tax-paying dollars going to killing ourselves.
But they never released the information as to who was these 8 officers that, like, that is, I mean, they would have already been released by now. That's such a, like, bull crap cover up from the gate. That is ridiculous.
Yeah. And as Katie said, jumping back to the story of the officer from Strasburg that has been transferred to another department, even though he has a record of police brutality, Katie Lutz says, don't let him have a 5th resignation, and 4 chances is enough.
Right. I mean, we heard about yesterday, we spoke about on T, 4 shots or 4 rocks equals 4 shots. like
Yep.
the fifth resignation, like, and how they do it is the officers, and I actually am friends with a former police officer, and I had asked about, this situation, and he had said that um, they are allowed to either one resign, or two get a termination, and it's better, or it's in their best interest to resign rather than terminate, because that keeps their records clean.
Yep.
So that is complete failure of the system. Then they're able to get rehired, wherever. And, and yes, Silk, I agree with you 100%. APD is definitely corrupt. That's Akron, Ohio. They have killed so many people behind closed doors that I just started writing down information from them yesterday. And they had 3 people within the last of September. And I was like, holy crap, that is insane. So that is all that I have today. So our focus is police officer involved cases, and that's cases that include police brutality, incidents of racism, world issues, and news, resources to provide you with tools to know your rights, and more. And thanks for rocking with us tonight, y'all. As always, on the path we meditate, to keep being we celebrate, for in spirit we liberate, so we may educate. Guide we must educate. It's been a pleasure, everyone. I hope you enjoyed, was entertained, and educated. Thank you for joining me, John Tell. I hope you have a good evening, or morning, actually, because it's morning now.
That's right. You as well. I know what y'all are used to. For those who follow us, used to seeing us in the PM, but hey, yo, shout out to our third co-host, Tristan, aka
Yes.
Meg's son.
He did pretty good today.
Right. Yeah. You usually hear us in the PM, but we gonna, do it in the AM as well, so y'all can check us out. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and joining us today. This is Freedom for All, y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Have a good day, guys.